There's no way he's actually in person. In person. Is he actually in prison? Where did we see this update? I usually am not a huge fan of SunnyV2 videos, but
EDP445 has been fired from 3 different jobs over the last couple of weeks.
We verify that?
As a result of people exposing his employment to TikTok. He's apparently completely out of money and as a result has been evicted from a few different properties and he's now living out of a suitcase in a couple of unconventional crappy locations.
However, I saw that video. We watched that video. It looked like he was driving along with somebody else while they were driving the truck, which is not good for that person because they can get fired.
The craziest update in the EDP445 tragedy is that only 3 weeks ago, according to one of his former YouTube buddies by the name of Felipe, the big man himself has actually been put behind bars.
This is the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center. Inmate Brian Moore would like to receive the call, and I said yes.
Things have gotten so bad for EDP that right now as we speak, he's applying to have his name legally changed. However, in a world
to what?
Of tit for tat where you unavoidably reap what you sow, it's hard to say that this punishment is undeserving. And in this video, you'll see how bad things can truly become if you plant weeds in your garden as opposed to flowers. To what extent should a person's life be ruined for the mistakes made in their own past? At what point, if ever, should EDP445 be forgiven for his own foolish decisions? Does EDP—
In all honesty, so, like, here's the thing, right? With EDP did, like, we know EDP did like a really bad thing. He ended up talking to a decoy that he thought was 13 years old and, like, tried to, you know, get with them. The only way, and see, like, it's so interesting that the concept of like forgiveness, for, you know, versus engagement, because I don't think that there's anything he could ever do to have re-engagement and be a content creator again. For me personally, what it would take for me to, what am I? Like, there's nothing to forgive. I think he's like a really bad person, but it would have to be, it would honestly have to be to actually go to therapy for being a pedophile. That's it. I mean, like, that's pretty much all you could do to, like, make any step where I'd go, oh, at least he's trying. Because, you know, people don't choose to have these attractions. People don't choose to have these attractions. So, like, if you have these urges and you go and you seek professional help, like, okay, that's fair. That's fine. The issue is that he was acting on them. And he could have hurt somebody, you know? That's really what the issue is more than anything else. But, well, okay, I understand what you say, but they do choose to act on it. Well, I did say that he chose to act on it, yes. Yeah. But that's why you seek professional help before you act on it. You know? Now, does that mean, would I forgive him? I wouldn't forgive him, but that's, like, the only way that he can move towards, like, any form of redemption. But there's really nothing to forgive. Like, I would never watch him. Again, I never really watched him, but I would never watch him. I would never be like, oh, EDP's back, you know? You know. So yeah.
EDP445's work completed prior to his cancellation hold any residual value, or was it rendered completely and utterly useless from the second he showed up to that cursed Bakersfield motel? We asked this last question because prior to the 18th of April 2021, things were actually going reasonably well for EDP445. If you look at his social blade graph, you'll see that he gained 520,000 subscribers over the course of 2 months in April and May of 2020. People loved him because he was one of the last few YouTubers who had absolutely no filter. He was unconcerned about ad revenue and therefore swore like a trooper while tackling some of the most crass yet hilarious topics. EDP445's unconventional mind was always spoken honestly, so he stood out as unique. It's not surprising either. In a world where everyone else online is always walking on eggshells, trying not to offend anyone.
He probably would have done pretty well with the shorts too. Like, he curses a lot, but he probably still could have done shorts. And then as long as you don't, like, violate, I think it's mostly monetization shit, he probably would have been fine and would have got that.
EDP445's brash attitude and unapologetic approach to life was somewhat refreshing for those who saw the world in a similar way. However, of course, such an approach wasn't without controversy. In 2017, as a result of his unconventional content, he'd be banned from YouTube for a period of 2 weeks, while Twitter was a little harsher, placing a ban on his main EDP445 account permanently. Additionally, after hitting 1 million subscribers in early 2020, YouTube refused to send EDP a gold play button, stating that the channel didn't match their eligibility criteria.
Well, you know, is he one of the last people who spoke the truth, or was he just, like, obnoxious? Because I feel like there's some people who speak the truth. I mean, honestly, there's probably not a whole lot left. There's not a whole lot of people who really speak their truth, honestly, like, credibility-wise. Like, I'm not a huge fan of SunnyV2, but, like, I've never seen him not speak his truth, you know what I mean? But then you have a lot of people, especially in the drama community, that, like, they just don't speak their truth. Like, they're just very dishonest. Like, covering the whole Sniper Wolf thing, like, F Noodle is very dishonest, you know what I mean? You know, so, you know, EDP was just kind of obnoxious. And he would curse a lot and talk about poop and, be insane. It's not that, I mean, he did speak his mind for sure, but there's a way to be palatable and speak your mind and not really worry about, you know, being a backlash for speaking what you feel is the truth or speaking the truth in general. So
because according to them, my channel doesn't match the criteria. I'm like, my channel has 0 community guideline strikes. It has 0 copyright strikes.
EDP would gain support from other large YouTubers such as Some Ordinary Gamers, who stated that the refusal was stupid.
YouTube, can you just give this dude his play button? If he doesn't get his play button, I'm gonna buy him his play button.
While EDP was also made a custom YouTube play button by a fan of the channel, displaying the love and support he had from the community at the time.
Not anymore,
However,
'cause,
perhaps
you know,
YouTube and Twitter were able to see something objectively that those who loved and supported him could not. They might have seen that a man
probably not. The reason I say that is because I don't think that YouTube or Twitter actually care about people. They just care about palatability, right? So, like, for instance, let's say James Charles just hit 1 million subscribers. They would send him his gold play button like that. They wouldn't care. But because EDP was controversial, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care. They don't care about that. They care about the reaction. And since there was a lot of, like, negative reaction towards him, that's why they didn't get the play button. I mean, it worked out, but
with such an unfiltered mind may have also been hiding some dirty skeletons in the closet, and correct is what they would eventually be.
Dirty
On the 18th of
skeletons.
April 2021, EDP445 was caught in 4K on his way to pick up a cupcake. The topic was covered by almost everyone in the commentary community.
I'm sure by now many of you have
On his way to pick up a cupcake. The topic was covered by
hey, where am I, bro? What the fuck? I'm just kidding.
almost everyone in the commentary community.
I'm sure
I just didn't know who the top guy was. I've never seen him before. Interesting.
by now many of you have at least heard of the EDP445 situation.
Creators who supported him in the past, such as Some Ordinary Gamers, would upload a video titled EDP445 needs to be arrested immediately.
Why has EDP been dropping hard? Because EDP is an individual that actually got Chris Hansen.
And after it was revealed that a similar situation had occurred as many as 8 times prior, many considered EDP unforgivable, and his life would subsequently descend into a state of chaos, what you might call the beginning of the end. In the 7 days following the expose, EDP445 would lose 200,000 subscribers, almost 10% of his entire count. However, how many followers he lost initially didn't actually matter, because 7 days later, his remaining 2 million subscribers would disappear entirely after YouTube decided to ban his account altogether. At the time of his banning, EDP was exactly 30 years old, and had been creating content since 2010 when he was 19 years old. So the 179 million views deleted in the process meant that his entire portfolio of work completed in his 20s, 10 plus years worth of labor, was wiped out quite literally overnight. One mistake was all it took for YouTube to decide that EDP4
It wasn't really one mistake. I mean, he just said upwards of like 8 mistakes. I mean,
445 no longer deserved either his celebrity status or any kind of record relating to any of his work completed in the past. Another method that EDP had for earning an online income was Cameo. You could order a personalized video and get EDP to say anything you instructed him to for the low price of $44.
I think
However,
can I do
following
that?
the infamous cupcake event,
I wanted to make him say like, "Oh, I love kids" or something. I don't know.
Cameo would be
I don't want to be too crass.
contacted by numerous individuals who will receive responses along the lines of, "Hey there, thank you for reaching out. Our team is aware of the allegations and are actively investigating this. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. Kindly Melita." Less than a week later, EDP445's Cameo account was deleted. Another income stream had gone up in smoke. EDP445 then attempted to switch to Facebook. However, after gaining 6,000 followers, he'd be banned from the platform. It was the same story over on Instagram. His main account was terminated, at which point EDP was likely coming to terms with the harsh reality of his cancellation. However, just before his Facebook was deleted, he'd make one final interesting announcement. He planned on making his own website to which he would continue posting videos.
EDP445 announced over on Facebook that he will be making his grand return to the internet with his own website to return to his old video type, I guess.
Just want to let you guys know, man, EDP445.com is coming soon. Been about like a week, maybe 2 weeks from
You
now.
know, honestly, do you know where I think his content would actually do really well and wouldn't have a problem getting like with him, like getting pulled down or demonetized? Probably jail. Probably do really well in there. So EDP, maybe you should check that out.
EDP445 seemingly got to the point of fully building the website, as discussed by Tipster here on YouTube.
It still says coming soon, still says today's date. It does look like EDP is actually serious about this whole launching a website thing.
However, after an apparent
Do I think in any situation it could be too late for therapy? I mean, technically, probably not. But for me, like after they harm a child, then it's too late for therapy, and it's it's time to go off to the island. You know what I'm saying?
falling out with his website developer, as mentioned in a Reddit comment, the launch seemed to fail.
Update, the website is now returning an error 500. So it looks like he's been having a little bit of trouble launching the site. Hasn't been working so well for him.
And to this day, the page remains as an unlaunched, inactive website. In spite of how much of a scumbag EDP445 truly was, you have to give him credit for sheer determination, because he then began to upload videos on another third-party website called 3.
No, I don't. No, what are you talking talking about? He's just, what are you talking about, bro?
Big TV,
I'll give him
where
credit
his
for that.
account would be met with the same fate. It was banned.
He wrote, for some reason, my channel was deleted. I don't have a clue what's going on. I didn't violate any guideline. Can you please tell me what's going on? EDP.
After this ban, it seemed as though EDP445 was slowly getting the message from each and every website. His career on the internet was finished. However, the internet wasn't finished with ending his career. Rich from Review Tech USA would state that he might be able to get a job working somewhere like Starbucks. However, it was only going to be so long before the trolls would come and inform him of his past.
But I don't even know if you could get a damn job at Starbucks and keep it, because you know the troll.
Not even of his past. Like, once they find out where he's working, they're going to spam call him until he gets fired. Like, even if they could just spam call and say fart, poop, wiener, whatever. It doesn't really matter. They'll fire him just because he's causing, like, a problem there.
Trolls are going to come after you and say, oh yeah, that guy you just hired, I wouldn't keep him employed. You'd probably lose a job at that coffee shop too real quick.
Rich would be correct in this statement. EDP445 moved from Bakersfield, California to Henderson, Nevada following the expose, where it seemed as though he managed to land a job as a Lyft driver in October 2021. However, this job would be fairly short-lived, as a video posted to TikTok by a user called Lennon Jimenez would expose EDP445's Lyft profile.
Damn, that's his profile picture. This guy really got slammed. Oh my god.
Went from wanting cupcakes to driving for Lyft.
And his position as a driver would subsequently be removed by the company. The situation would promote Reddit discussion, with one post stating EDP as a Lyft driver, how the mighty have fallen, which received comments such as, can you take me to the grocery store? I'm gonna go buy some.
Why am I winking at you, bro? I have Tourette's. Why do you guys keep asking about it? You guys are like, oh, Papa got, somebody did yesterday. Like, Papa, I'm very new to this channel, but why are you really nervous? Because you keep winking or this. I was like, bro, I have fucking Tourette's. Holy shit.
Cupcakes, and I hope he doesn't get on any food delivery apps. MF would eat my fries and I'd have missing slices of pizza. However, somewhat hilariously, it was revealed shortly thereafter that EDP had in fact been driving for both Uber Eats and Grubhub, which would also both fire him after finding out about the drama.
He was driving Lyft, he was driving for Grubhub and Uber Eats, and all three of those companies fired him.
According to a very basic unconfirmed source, EDP also apparently applied at Chuck E. Cheese, but for obvious reasons didn't seem to get the position.
That seems right up his alley, but yeah.
EDP445 no longer had the ability to make money online or in real life, as this revealed, unless he were to find some extremely low-skill niche job where they wouldn't check his name online and where he wouldn't have to interact with any customers who might expose him to whichever company he might be working for. With so many obstacles in the way of finding even the most basic of jobs, it's hardly surprising to find out that EDP has been attempting to change his name legally. The application shown on screen states that Bryant Moreland applied for a name change with the Nevada County Court on the 20th.
I don't know, but are people finding it because of his name, or are they just seeing his fucking face and be like, oh, that's the guy? I mean, I think at this point he needs like drastic plastic surgery or something. Go to Mexico or something. I don't know.
1st of October 2021. The strange part about this is that when you try and search the court register from the Reddit post by typing in his name, Bryant Moreland, it now states that there are no results found, possibly indicating that EDP445's name change has been successful and he's no longer known as Bryant Moreland.
As you can see,
or maybe he was never trying to do that.
An old should stick just
Hey, thank you so much for the sub,
for
brother.
4 months. Yo.
What up?
did type in his name, Moreland Bryant, submit. No results found.
However, the problem with this, as outlined by the EDP445 subreddit, is that he's not exactly hard to spot. This idiot thinks this will fix anything, LeMayo. He will be spotted everywhere no matter his name. He should flee to Cuba or something like this. Changing his name isn't a good idea.
He can be a cosplayer. Bam, there you go. He could cosplay like a Snorlax? I don't really know.
It's going to get leaked anyways. What good does changing a name do when you're as easily recognizable as him, lol? He needs to lose hundreds of pounds and get a hair transplant. Perhaps the goal is to have his name hidden for long enough in order to get a job, as other sources state that he's been unsurprisingly struggling with money.
He's broke. Like, YouTube made him money, but after having that, he got broke.
I can't believe they're holding another black man down, bro. Jesus. It's fucked up, dude. Where's BLM when you needed him, all right?
Real quick.
A user by the name of Master at Work, who was one of the people trying to expose EDP all the way back in 2020, stated in October that EDP had less than $3,300 cash left in his account, plus 2 cars and a couple of other things that he might be able to sell.
The only income that he has, other than the $3,300 that he has left in his bank account, is maybe the 40 grand in weapons and the 2 cars that he owns.
However, in the 2 months since October, users on Reddit used his car's license plate to confirm that EDP445 has sold one of his cars, possibly indicating that his cash stack has dwindled even further. In the same live stream during which Master at Work would discuss EDP's financial situation, it also mentioned that EDP had been evicted from his apartment complex as the property owner received numerous complaints about having him as a tenant.
Call up Spur Apartments and verify for yourself. EDP will no longer be living at Spur Apartments. The reason why he got evicted is because of constant harassment the property owner has been getting.
Since then, EDP has been living out of a suitcase at various hotels. However, even then, his detractors have been going around trying to get him kicked out of wherever he happens to be staying.
You know, it's an interesting thing because even, you know, without money, this guy has no ability to get help. Then again, I doubt he was going to get help in the first place. But, you know, with this kind of like, so here's what I would say. If he was actually getting therapy, I would say like that people should lay off and let him go to therapy and like work a job. That's the forgiveness that I would say. But, you know, obviously there's no guarantee he would even seek that type of help to deal with his issues. So
he's a danger to everyone in here.
Okay, so I just called security. Go ahead and let security know all
I will
this information.
be more than happy to let them know. Thank you very much.
EDP's detractors have made his life such a living hell that if anything, an arrest or a short stint in prison would almost make his circumstances more comfortable. We'll preface this part by stating that there have been numerous accounts of EDP.
Well, it may not make it more comfortable. You know, well, he didn't actually like physically harm a child, so he probably wouldn't get the shit beaten out of him. But you know, people in prison don't exactly like you know, people who are attracted to children. So
he being arrested. However, they never seem to have any rock solid proof to go along with it. So take everything said in the next section with a grain of salt. In late October, a YouTuber by the name of Matt Simon seemed confident that EDP had been arrested, yet provided no evidence or reason for the arrest.
EDP has been arrested. Today is October 25th. It is 11:30 at night, and EDP has been arrested today.
And he was actually arrested today. But I don't know what he was arrested for.
This claim clearly lacks credibility. People in the comments requested evidence, to which there seems to be none. However, a former friend of EDP445 by the name of Felipe claims to have some stronger evidence pertaining to the potential arrest of EDP445. Less than a month ago, on the 3rd of December 2021, he'd uploaded a video titled "Is EDP445 in Jail?" In this video, Felipe explained that while out having dinner, he'd get a call from a private number stating that it was EDP445 who was being held at the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center.
So the third time I picked up, I was like, you know, hello, and it said, this is the Henderson, Nevada Detention Center inmate for Bryant Moreland. Would you like to receive the call? And I like hung up, you know, and then called again, and the same thing happened. You know, would you like to receive a call? So I said yes, because I was like, you know, I was just curious to see, like, holy shit, like he got arrested, like wow, you know?
The issue is the only evidence that he's able to provide is 4 no caller ID calls on his iPhone, which isn't exactly rock solid evidence to say the least, and Felipe's character is suspect at best. He only gets views when he talks about EDP445, and without EDP on the internet to defend himself, anyone can say anything. Additionally, if EDP did successfully change his name in October or November as mentioned previously, this would prove the story to be fake, as the guy states that it was Bryant Moreland on the other end of the phone. One comment stated, looked up every inmate record in Clark County, which is where Henderson is, Kern County, which is where Bakersfield is, and Manatee County, which is where Bradenton, Florida is, which said that he was connected to online. No Bryant Moreland is in any of those prisons. In the end, it doesn't really matter whether or not he's in actual prison, as it's safe to say that EDP is a man who made a mistake so bad that even outside of concrete prison walls, he barely has a drop of freedom.
You know what's interesting?
Thing you instructed him,
because people are in the chat. This is something like, listen, first and foremost, I want to say, I really don't care about EDP. I don't give a shit about him. However, there's one thing I do want to try to like get people to think about, and this is something that my wife got me to think about. For those of you who don't know, my wife is a behavioral specialist with adults with disabilities. She works with people with like multiple different disabilities, ranging from like Down syndrome to autism to then there's even people who are pedophiles. You know, it's the unfortunate aspect of the job. There's a conversation to be had about this picture of EDP is creeping the fuck out of me. It's on screen. That's oh my god. Oh dude, are you fucking, this motherfucker goes, is that how you met her? Bro, go fuck yourself. Bro, you're a fucking piece of shit, dude. Holy shit, you dumb piece of fuck. God damn it, bro. That's fucked up. Is that how I met her? What do you call me, fucking stupid? You stupid asshole. Oh my god. Oh, you fucking threw me. I'm trying to have like a real... I'm trying to have real talk right now, and this motherfucker goes, did your wife meet you because you're a fucking adult with disability? Yeah, I'm an adult with a disability. That's how she met me, bro. Oh my god, you gotta give me a second. I'm trying to have a real fucking conversation, bro. Holy shit. Okay. Bro, this guy perfumes, you piece of fucking shit. All right. Would she get fired if she got a patient? Probably, yeah. Okay. Okay, let me show you. The point I was trying to make is this. Fundamentally, we can remove EDP from the situation. But fundamentally, what was I saying? Like my wife, yeah, behavioral specialist. This is a conversation that we had. We had an interesting conversation about how I don't know if paint is going to help me, but I kind of want to maybe try about this. There are absolutely predators who try to talk to, like, let's say 12-year-old kids, 13-year-old in this case, whatever, doesn't matter. Right? And they try to talk to them, and then they'll try to talk to them, they'll try to meet up with them, they'll try to sleep with them. This absolutely happens. There's also people though who have these desires, and they're attracted to kids, and they'll talk in chat rooms, but they won't be quite as aggressive towards these 13-year-old kids, right? So we have the predators who are super aggressive, and then we have people who like know it's wrong, and they go for their urges, and they try to like get with these kids, but they're not super aggressive about it. And I personally think that you should be able to like identify somebody just talking to like a young person in a sexual capacity, and we should be able to like instantly force them to go to therapy. I don't know how practical or realistic that is, but I wish it was. The thing is though, is that if you have somebody who's, and this, I'm not saying this is even EDP, but if you have a person, let's say you have a pedo, and they're on an online chat room and they're talking to a 13-year-old decoy, there's something to notice that a lot of times the decoys are very aggressive about meeting them because they're trying to catch them. And it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because you want to get this person to not harm children. One of the problems is that a lot of times it'll push this individual past their normal boundaries of what they're willing to do. So they might be like, oh, you're really cute. Like, oh, I want to do this. But they won't really go through with it because they're really guilty. But this 13-year-old who's actually like 20 years old, because they're a decoy, starts like they're more mature, so they're like, oh no, I want to do this, oh no, I want to do that, and they'll start playing like a little bit of like they'll guilt to somebody and shame them a little bit, which is like, I don't care about this person. Problem is usually what happens, it seems like what happens is like entrapment happens, right? So you have this 20-year-old who is pretending to be a 13-year-old, but they still have a 20-year-old brain. So they're interacting with their 20-year-old brain to this person, and they're being pretty suggestive. Like, let's meet up. Oh, you said you'd meet me up. Oh, you said you'd do this. And we saw a little bit of that when it comes to EDP. And what happens is like this person ends up going and meeting up with them when they probably wouldn't have met up with them, and then they get exposed, which is not a bad thing. But then what happens is a lot of times they get out. They go free. Right? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing paint. I just feel like drawing, I guess. They go free. And now what happens is you have this person, who normally probably wouldn't have, there's a good reasonable chance that they normally wouldn't have met up with the kid, who meets up and finds out it's false, but they end up going free because of like entrapment or just not enough evidence or something. I don't really know, because you saw EDP went free. I mean, he might be in jail, but I doubt it. And now they know what not to do. Right? Because while they were interacting with this 13-year-old decoy, I don't know why I put an A, I should have put a D. While they were interacting with the 13-year-old decoy, they probably like sensed some stuff that was like, this is weird. Why would they say this? Why did they do this? This was bizarre. But they pushed past it because they believed it was a 13-year-old. And now they go back onto the same chat rooms and they know what to avoid. Right? And so it's such an unfortunate situation because these people are really trying to get a bad person off the streets. But what ends up happening, and I think it's a flaw in our legal system. Like I said, I think if we caught people that were just talking to 13-year-olds in chat rooms, that we should instantly be able to force them into therapy before they harm anybody. Once you harm somebody, you go to an island, you know. But what ends up happening is this: like they talk to them, they get them to meet up, and then they end up going free, and now they know what to avoid. And it's like they're able to write their own like predator manual. And that's kind of the problem with vigilante instances like this. And they're really well intentioned, and I understand it. But this is one of the problems. This is one of the problems that we have here. Is that sometimes unintentionally these vigilantes will cause somebody who is probably struggling with some kind of like struggling with like a mental disorder. It's classified in the DSM-5. And they probably may never have met a child. They may never go out. It's something that they don't want to do. They know it's wrong and they're very guilty, but they push them past that boundary, and then it makes that person more comfortable. Because the only thing really stopping these people for the most part is probably that they feel like they're going to get caught. But now they have a better they have a better they know better what to do to not get caught. Right? So that's just something I wanted to kind of throw out there. So hopefully you guys understand what I'm trying to say.